Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your monthly reading. So, this is for the next month. It could be for March if you're seeing it now. So, just, take what resonates. Whenever you see it, that's when you're supposed to. Okay? So, I want to let everybody know that I am going to be moving my tarot content over to YouTube primarily and also my Patreon channel. Okay? I'm ready to start posting like longer videos again, and I want to do them more consistently, and I just feel like Instagram isn't really supportive for the community that I am in, with the spiritual community and things like that. So because of the scammer situation, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you receive a DM from someone who is pretending to be me, offering you services, just know that is not me. I will never do that. You can only book on my scheduler, which there's a link to it in my bio, and I will put it right here on the screen too. So if you could please, for me, go over to my YouTube channel, Lolo Moon, and please give me, subscribe to me, and I will also start doing extended readings again. So if you would like to come support me on my Patreon, all of that's going to be in my bio so that you don't have to search for it. You can just go to my bio, click the links, subscribe, that kind of thing. I really thank you all so much for supporting me. Like, I really appreciate it. But I am going to be moving like the majority of my tarot content to YouTube. Okay, so just letting you know that. Let's go ahead and get started. Aquarius. I have 3 Aquarians who have asked me about this reading. I have several Aquarius clients, so I decided to go ahead and jump ahead and do Aquarius. So your overall message for the month, you have the 3rd house in the astrology cards. You have the 3rd house, and the 3rd house is like siblings, friends, that kind of thing. It's ruled by Mercury and Gemini. And it says on here messages. Also, I looked right at that Eye of Horus, and I just don't know if that's like significant to you in any way. Like, if you feel like your vision is broadening this month. I also believe that the Eye of Horus can be about protection. So I feel like, that could be a message for some of you, like this month, like you are divinely protected. If you need to remember that, like, there it is, right? If that's like you were looking for a sign, there's your sign. You also have the earth element stability, okay? And you have the 1st house, the body, and Saturn truth. Okay, and it's really interesting because as we get further into the reading, you'll kind of see how like this truth aspect like plays out. And I honestly kind of feel like that is my eye is watering because I have allergies right now, sorry, but I kind of feel like that has been like a consistent Aquarian theme that I have noticed like over the months, like in my readings and working with my clients, is like this idea around truth, okay? And whether that's your personal truth or you speaking your truth, that kind of thing. But it just seems to be like that's something that like you're aligning with. Like, what is the truth for you? Like, what is your truth? What is like, the higher truth? Like, if you feel like you get locked into a very specific mindset, like, is that the truth? Or is that like conditioning, for instance? Or, is that the thing that you tell yourself, so that, I don't know, that you tell yourself, right? Is it the actual truth? So I kind of feel like that is something that is a very like common Aquarian theme that I have noticed that is around truth. So I feel like this month, this is really about you kind of getting with yourself and really diving into like what that is for you. Okay. Now the 1st house, is about the self, right? This is like, this can be your ego identity. This could be how you see yourself. This could be how you present yourself, right? And so I feel like this really does have to do with you kind of being rooted in this idea of truth that like is yours, and isn't like, a collective truth, or like a, your parents and your family and like their influence of that on you. And this is really just about like, what is truth to you? You know what I mean? So anyway, I hope that that makes sense for you. But okay, so let's kind of move on. Career and finances here. Let me kind of move these things over here. Career and finances. So I kind of feel like this month it really is about like manifesting for you. It's really about like getting an idea of what you truly even want, because you may be rather confused about that because you have the moon card. And I do feel like you're kind of reflecting on like what you need to do, number one, for stability, because you have the stability energy. And you also have the Four of Wands. So it's like what you need to do for your stability, what you need to do for like, to pay your bills, because we all have to do that, right? But then also trying to like, align with, what potential you have, or what, what gifts you may have that you feel like you could use elsewhere, you have this full energy. And I definitely feel like that is more of a liberation energy when you compare it with this magician, which is the witch in this deck. When you pair it with that, it's like, you kind of sitting back and reflecting on, okay, so I have gifts, and what are they? And what can I do with these gifts? And, I feel like you're really focusing on like how you can step outside of the box, because you may have, like, going back to truth, you may have like attached yourself to a certain truth about finances and career, that you felt like you were supposed to do that because like that was the truth. And now you're kind of like, well, wait a second, maybe that was a restriction, it's not actually the truth, it's just what I thought was the truth, right? And so now I feel like you're kind of like stepping outside of that. And you're recognizing like these subconscious like whispers, that kind of, steer you in a certain direction. And you're like, no, I think that I'm going to focus more on the self, this month. And like, what I want to do, okay? But also while still maintaining the stability that I need in my life, okay? You have the Knight of Wands in reverse. So you could have just kind of been all over the place. Like, I want to do this, and you're like hopping around, right? But now it's like you're in an energy where you want to be decisive, like, so I do feel like this is very much a reflective energy that's happening for you, and not so much like actual experiences in your life, okay, regarding career and finances. Okay, love and relationships. You have the star on the bottom of the deck. That's you. Okay, so you have the Knight of Wands. I think that's the Knight of Wands. It definitely looks like a Knight of Wands. So here in career, you may be ready to like, make a decision, right? And like stick with one thing. In love and relationships, you may still be very much like hot and cold, like not really sure what you want. You could be dealing with a Knight of Wands though, and a Knight of Wands is somebody who's very fun, like has, it's someone that you want around, like if you're going to go party and have a good time with. It's definitely not somebody you want to settle in a relationship with, because they're wishy-washy and they're all over the place and they're hot and cold, and you're like, I don't even know what's going on today. Like, what is this? Like, Anyway, so you could honestly be dealing with somebody like that who, this Five of Pentacles, they've been in and out of your life. They may have like abandoned you or ghosted you, or just like it could honestly just feel like you just feel really misunderstood by this person as well. And I feel like you could have taken your power back in this situation. But I mean, I feel like you're kind of rebuilding your life. You have blossoming 33, right? I feel like you're rebuilding your life. You could have gone through like some kind of spiritual transformation with that number 33, because like, that's what that is. Like, the number 33 is such a phenomenal year. And, it is the year of like everything changes. So, but I do feel like you may be kind of in hermit mode, a little bit. You're doing a lot of reflecting this month, and it does seem like you're doing that a little bit in relationships, But I do feel like you kind of don't know what you want in love and relationships either. And it does seem to have to do with this energy. And you're just kind of like standing in your power, but make sure you're not standing in your power as a way of self-sabotaging, okay? So, because like we can do that. I'm guilty of it. Like we can do that where, you know, we're like, so like protective over this newfound sense of power that like we don't allow experiences to happen. So, you know, been there. Anyway, but I feel like, you know, you are like moving forward. I would say towards the end of the month, you're ready to start putting some things in motion. You could also have a situation with somebody who, you're starting something new with, like something that, you know, because you have this full energy. But I don't know, I really do feel like this full energy for you is about like you really deciding like what actually makes you happy in love and relationships, and really not wavering on that. Like I feel like you're really getting down to the details, okay? So I was called to pull one of these oracle messages for you, and it says, seeing the true you. And it's number 29. And I mean, I feel like that's what's going on this month. It's like you really have, like, you're standing in your power, right? Like, and in standing in your power, you know your value. That's what standing in your power is it's knowing your value. And that is how you set the necessary boundaries around this sense of value that you have, right? And so you're blossoming and you're blooming, right? And now you're starting to really know who you are. Like, you may not have actually seen that, and maybe you've really struggled like with feeling seen from other people, you know, and it's because you didn't really see you. You know what I mean? And so, like, you may have always been seeing yourself through the eyes of other people, but they can't really ever do that for you, right? Like, you know, because if you're if you're seeing yourself through the eyes of other people, you're not presenting your real self to them. You know what? I don't know if that, like, because you don't have the sense of self. And I'm guilty of this too. Like, you don't have the sense of self, right? And you're like waiting to see that from another person because you don't have it. And so what they see in you could be something that is really more of a false self instead of a true self. I really do hope that this makes sense. But, I feel like you're starting to see this. Like, you're standing in this powerful Aquarian energy of like really being who you are this month, okay? And I feel like it's from there that you begin to build relationships. You know, you may not have anything right off the bat. Like I said, I feel like you're going through some stuff, right? If you're already in a relationship and you're listening to this, this could really be about like you just going through things like in a relationship, and there's expansion towards the end of the month. I do want to say that. I kind of want to pull one of these love cards for you before I wrap up. Spirit guides, guardian angels, higher selves, can you clarify this message, this 11? Round and round. That's that card that comes out, the Fates. Okay, so what I'm seeing here for you, Aquarius, is that you're actually not willing to engage in repeated patterns, okay? The Fates is the Wheel of Fortune. I feel like, and the Regeneration, this is like the Death card. I feel like you're done with the same old. And so, like, because of that, you are taking the time to really get with yourself, you know, and rebuild a sense of what you're really wanting in relationships. And, you know, it doesn't have to just be romantic and love and that kind of thing, but it all stems from the self this month. So I hope that this helped. And if you're looking for a personal reading, like I've said before, you can book on my scheduler in my bio. And I hope that you have a wonderful month. Thank you. Bye.